Welcome to this lecture, which is on dominated convergence theorem, and it is a continuation of my previous lecture, which was on monotone convergence theorem, Pathus lemma, and dominated convergence theorem. In my previous lecture, I have just given the statement of the dominated convergence theorem. In this lecture, I will prove this theorem. So, just for recall, let omega a p be a probability space and all the random variables are assumed to be defined in this probability space. So, first we recall what was the monotone convergence theorem. So, basically, let xn be a non-decreasing sequence of non-negative random variables converging to the random variable x, then limit n tends to infinity, expected value of xn is equal to expected value of x, that is limit n tends to infinity, expected xn is same as expected value of limit xn. That means this theorem basically provides us the conditions under which we can interchange this expectation and limit. And dominated convergence theorem will also provide us the conditions under which we can interchange expectation and limit. There is another lemma which was very useful, and we have gone through the proof of this lemma in our previous lecture. And this lemma says, this is Pathus lemma, and this says for a sequence of xn of non-negative random variables, that means if random variables are only non-negative and they are not decreasing or increasing kind of thing, then expected value of limit inferior xn is smaller than or equal to limit inferior of expected xn. So these two things, these two theorems we have proved in our previous lecture, and then we have given this corollary which says that if mod xn is dominated by y, where y is integrable, then xn converges to x almost surely implies expected xn converges expected x. So this theorem in general measure, this is known as the dominated convergence theorem. But we are talking about probability space which has a finite measure. So this can be strengthened with the following theorem, which I am calling dominated convergence theorem. This says that if xn is smaller than is dominated by y almost surely, where y is integrable, then xn converges to x in probability implies expected xn converges to expected x. See, we know that the convergence in probability is weaker than convergence almost surely. So this theorem is actually stronger than this one. Here we can also put almost surely, mod xn less than or equal to y almost surely. We can put that also, and we will use this corollary in the proof of dominated convergence theorem. So let us start with the proof, and there are three things we have to see. First thing is mod xn is dominated by y almost surely, and xn converges to x in probability. These two things implies that xn minus mod xn minus x, which is less than or equal to mod xn plus mod x by triangle inequality. Now mod xn is dominated by y and xn converges to x, so mod x will also be dominated by y. So these two things dominated by y individually, and therefore it is less than or equal to 2y almost surely. Next, xn converges to x in probability. We know that this is if and only if xn minus x converges to 0 in probability, and expected xn converges to expected x if and only if expected xn minus expected x, which is same as expected value of xn minus x converges to 0. So what we are doing in these three statements, we are actually focusing on xn minus x. So if you see, mod of xn minus x is dominated by 2y, xn minus x converges to 0, and expected value of xn minus x converges to 0. So in our previous in our theorem, we can say that it suffices to prove the theorem for the case when x equal to 0, because whenever x is not 0, we can convert that by making xn minus x as a new sequence. So that means we are going to prove xn converges to 0 in probability implies expected xn converges to 0. Instead of proving xn converges to x in probability implies expected xn converges to expected x. Because whenever this will be the case, we can convert that sequence of random variables by these three observations into 0. So we are actually going to prove this statement, and for that, consider the sequence of expected value of xn's. See, expected value of xn's will exist because xn's are dominated by y and y is integrable. So this sequence will exist. This is a sequence of real numbers, but we do not know whether its limit will exist or not. So, but limit inferior of this sequence always exists, as we know that limit inferior always exists. So there is a subsequence of x and k of xn such that x and k converges to 0 in probability, because if a sequence is converging to 0 in probability, there will be a subsequence which will also converge to 0 in probability. I should say that all the sequences will converge to 0, but we are actually focusing on limit inferior of expected xn. So we are just finding a subsequence of expected value of x and k which will converge to limit inferior, because it always exists, and we know that there will be a subsequence which will always converge to limit inferior. Now, from this subsequence, since this x and k converges to 0 in probability, we know that from our previous knowledge that there exists a subsequence of x and k, call it x and kj, which will converge to 0 almost surely. That means if there is a sequence converging to 0 in probability, then we can find a subsequence converging to 0 almost surely. That fact I am using here. So since x and kj converges to 0 almost surely, from the corollary we have mentioned in the starting of this lecture, that corollary gives us this result that expected value of x and kj also converges to 0. Now see, we have this expected value of x and kj. This is a subsequence of expected value of x and kj. Now you know that this original sequence converges to this limit inferior, and this subsequence converges to 0. Now you know that if a sequence converges, then all of its subsequence will converge to same limit. That point we are going to use. So limit inferior expected xn, that means this quantity, this is nothing but the limit of this sequence. So this is limit k tends to infinity expected value of x and k, that means limit of this. But this expected x and kj is the subsequence of this sequence. So, and this converges to 0. So these both will have same limit, because this is nothing but the subsequence of this, and this has a convergent limit. So both will be same, and this quantity we have shown that this converges to 0. That's how we are showing actually limit inferior of expected xn goes to 0. Now similarly, we can show that limit superior of expected xn is 0. How we can show this? See, since this sequence is there, limit superior of expected xn will always exist, and if limit superior of expected xn exists, then we can find a subsequence of xn such that that subsequence will converge to 0, and expected value of that subsequence will converge to limit superior of expected xn. Now again, since this subsequence converges to 0, we can find a subsequence which converges to 0 almost surely. And using the previous corollary, if this x and kj converges to 0, we can show that expected x and kj also converges to 0. but this is a subsequence of this sequence which was converging to limit superior. Therefore, this limit superior expected xn, limit k tends to infinity expected xn k, which is same as limit j tends to infinity expected xn kj is equals to 0, and in this manner we can also show that limit superior of expected xn is equals to 0. That means same process we will follow. Instead of writing limit inferior, we just write limit superior. So we have shown that limit inferior as well as limit superior of expected xn is 0, and since limit inferior and limit superior both are 0, so limit exists and limit of expected xn will be 0. So this was the proof of dominated convergence theorem, which is not very difficult. In this proof, what are the main 2 points? The first point is that if a sequence of random variables converges to 0 in probability, then we can find a subsequence of that random variable, that sequence which converges to 0 in almost sure. Number 1. Number 2, if limit inferior, limit superior always exist, and we can find out sequences which will converge to this limit, and then we find the subsequence of that subsequence which will converge to 0. And then we use the fact that if a sequence is convergent, then all of its subsequences will converge to the same limit. These two things we are using, and that corollary we are using. So this was the proof of dominated convergence theorem. I hope you will like it. Thank you.